Very good evening to all brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. So today is the 21st of September 2021. Our Tuesday class is also our mooncake festival. So an auspicious day. So today we are going to study this Sallekha Sutta, which is the sutra on effacement, means how to eradicate defilements leading to enlightenment. Just relax body and mind and maintain a suitable posture to prepare for meditation. So as usual, we are off the light. We will have our half an hour of awareness-based meditation. Just relax body and mind completely. Then maintain some form of attention. Then silence your mind. To develop the awareness-based meditation is relatively easy when you understand. The first support for awareness-based meditation is to have the ability to relax completely your body and mind, to be completely at ease, so that there is no stress, no tension, nothing to disturb you. Just relax. Then silence everything. Maintain peace within. The second support is just maintain awareness. Whatever arises, aware. Whatever arises, aware. It can be anything, whether it's a tactile sensation or a feeling or any arising thought or any arising sense or contact between your mind and your sense basis, or whatever phenomenon, movement that arise, just maintain awareness. Then for those who have an object of meditation, you can develop awareness of the object of meditation that you are familiar with. If you don't have any, then you can use either anapanasati, mindfulness of the in and out breath, or you relax and stay at the heart area. Just maintain awareness around your heart area, that's it. Then let this, whatever arising, continue to arise. So first support is to relax body and mind completely. Second support is maintain awareness. To maintain awareness, you must not think, but you cannot stop the heedless thinking if your mental hindrances are still there, if you don't have the stability of spiritual faculty. So when you lack spiritual faculties, means you don't have a stable saddha, virya, sati, samadhi, and panna, then this mental hindrance, the opposite five, will arise and cause the heedless thinking. And also because during your daily life, when you are living your normal daily life, you are not heedful, you are not mindful, you have not trained your mind, you tend to think a lot, heedless. And all this arises because you lack spiritual faculty. The mental hindrance hinders your mind from entering the meditative state of inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness. That's why you can't meditate. So now you reverse all this through an understanding. You can only be aware when you don't think. So when you relax, maintain awareness, you are not thinking. Then the third support is maintain awareness for as long as you can. So you have to be patient. You have to silently maintain awareness until the mind settles down, until your sankhara activity slow down, and finally become very quiet, very subtle, very still. Then you will realize something. Means when the thinking stops, when there is just the pure awareness within, you will realize your true mind, your silent mind. There is your meditative mind. That can only arise when you are completely without thought. So awareness-based meditation is to train the mind to have the stability of awareness, not to think. But the thinking part and the awareness nature, they are very near to each other. From the awareness nature, thought can come out very fast. Sankhara activity can arise very fast. The aggregate of mind can arise very fast. That's why from that nature, all mental activity or mundane thinking, aggregates of mind, the mundane mind, they will arise. And because you have your senses, when they are active, they create sense door consciousness and activity. That's why you will start to react to what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you tactile feel and think, without you understanding what is going on. Because you lack mindfulness, you lack awareness, and you cannot understand all this. So our awareness-based meditation is to train the individual to have this ability to be aware, so that you understand what is going on within your form and mind. And through the observation, the understanding, you will come to know who are you, what are you, and how you function as a human being. That is what meditation is. That is what Dhamma is. Then you will understand the teaching very easily, very clearly. Why the Buddha defined human being or living being as the five aggregates of form and mind. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, the two aspects. You will see them clearly, arising and passing away. Especially the second aspect, the mental five aggregates of form and mind that arise and pass away with every moment of consciousness. Okay, now I will allow you to meditate on your own. I will set the alarm. Then you can proceed with your awareness-based meditation 30 minutes from now. After the 30 minutes is up, the alarm will sound. Then I will ring the bell 3 times. After that, on hearing the bell, slowly, mindfully come out of the meditation. Then try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. Okay. Okay, you all can slowly, mindfully come out of the meditation. Then try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness you have developed for as long as you can. Use it to develop the daily mindfulness and to live your life. So this Sallekha Sutta is a middle-length discourse. It's from Majjhima Nikāya 8. This is a sutra on effacement. Effacement means eradication. Eradication of defilements, eradication of wrong view, leading to enlightenment. So this sutta is very important and very unique. It has a few very important advice. I will go through with you, then you understand. So you look at the notes on top. This is based on the original translation by Bhikkhu Bodhi, and the link is up there. They have a sutra link, https://suttacentral.net/Majjhima Nikāya 8/en/Bodhi. So now I will read to you the discourse. Hopefully you can develop the understanding. Basically, just to summarize to you, this sutta came about because of this Mahachunda, Venerable Mahachunda, which is a very senior disciple of the Buddha. So he posed this question to the Buddha in order to help clear up certain misconception at that time, because there were a lot of young bhikkhu or newly ordained monks, and most of them are at the beginning of their cultivation or meditative training. So in order to avoid confusion and all those things, Mahachunda posed this question to Lord Buddha. And the way Lord Buddha proclaim this sutta to explain all this is very beautiful, because it started with the view of the self, the ego, the Atman, and all those things. Then there were a lot of other doctrines or teaching regarding the world and many other views, which Mahajana knew was confusing and misleading, will not lead to the right path. Then there were also a lot of bhikkhu attracted to the traditional cultivation of the 8 jhanas, the 8 attainment, the first 4 form jhana and the next 4 formless jhana. They call it the rupa jhanas and the arupa jhanas. So in order to clear the misconception and confusions, Mahajana asked Lord Buddha this very beautiful question that leads to the answer. So I will go through the sutta with you, then maybe you will have better understanding. So Sallekha Sutta, Majjhima Nikāya 8, Sutra on effacement. Effacement means eradication of certain things. So here the term effacement is used for Dhamma study, means to eradicate the urge, the asavas, or what we call all of the wrong views. So when you can eradicate defilement and straighten your view, then you can develop wisdom or awakening. And when you have that, the Buddha said you are abiding in effacement. So now I will read to you the sutta. Thus have I heard, on one occasion the Blessed One was living in Savatthi, in Jeta's grove, Anandapindika's park. Then when it was evening, the Venerable Mahajana rose from meditation and went to the Blessed One, means the Buddha. After paying homage to the Blessed One, he sat down on one side and said to the Buddha, Venerable Sir, there are various views arising in this world, associated either with the doctrine of a self or with the doctrines about the world. Now does the abandoning and relinquishing of those wrong views, in Pali, here I think Sister Ingbi has added, which is very good, dittinang pahanang hoti, dittinang patinisad go, comes about in a bhikkhu who is attending. Here the word attending is very important, means when you are cultivating, maintain attention. Manasika ruto. Manasika is attention. Manasika ruto. So attending the word, who is attending only to the beginning of his meditative training. So these are new bhikkhus training themselves to actually develop the meditative training to awaken, to become enlightened. So the Buddha explained, answered Mahachunda's question. He said, Chunda, as to those views that you mentioned just now, the view of a self and the view of the world that arise in the world, associated with either the doctrine of a self, means an Atman, or a permanent unchanging entity, or with doctrines about the world. If the object in relation to which those views arise, which they underlie, and which they are exercised upon, this next part is very important, listen. When they are exercised upon, is seen as it actually is, with proper wisdom, means seeing things as they are, with proper wisdom. Then the Pali word is yatta bhutanang Sama panya pasato. So this one is very beautiful. Yatta bhutanang means knowledge and vision of the reality as it is. Sama panya, the right wisdom. Pasato means you have actually seen it. Thus, how do you see it? You can see that this is not mine. This I am not. This is not mine. Oh, sorry, this is not self. So the Pali word is nitam mama. Neso ha must me. Then the last part is name so atati. So the meaning is very beautiful. Means you will come to know that you are not what you think you are. That's why this one, this is not me, or these are not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. Means a permanent, unchanging entity which I can hold on to, cling on to, grasp on to, and say, this is me. This is I. Therefore, all this can be mine. So this one is very important. You cannot see this way to realize this right view or right understanding. Then the Buddha say the abandoning and relinquishing of those views cannot happen. But if you can come to see it, means when you exercise upon the training, which they are exercised upon, is seen as it actually is, with proper wisdom. Thus, this is not mine, this I am not, this is not self. Then the abandoning and relinquishing of those views, wrong understanding comes about. So this is the most important insight or awakening that the Buddha wants the bhikkhu to understand. Not any other attainment. You can attain any meditative experience or fantastic meditative attainment like the 4 jhana, the 8 jhanas and all those things. But all those does not lead to abandoning and relinquishment of those wrong views, wrong understanding. If you cannot relinquish, abandon them, means the defilements will be there. You will continue to do the wrong thing. Means your views will be wrong. That your condition, your wrong action, wrong speech, and wrong thought. That's how the defilement will arise. Then the Buddha move on to the next explanation about the 8th attainment. This 8th attainment is the Buddha is referring to the 4 rupa jhana or form jhana. Rupa is form jhana. Then the subsequent 4, which is the arupa jhana, the formless jhana. So the Buddha said, it is possible here, Chinda, that quiet seclusion or quiet secluded from sense pleasure, secluded from unwholesome state. Some bhikkhu enter upon and abide in the first jhana, which is accomplished by applied thought, sustained thought, which is vitakka vichara, followed by rapture, which is piti, and pleasure, born of seclusion, which is sukhang. That he might think thus, I'm abiding in effacement, means they think they are in the enlightenment state. They have already eradicated everything. But it is not this attainment that is called effacement in the noble one's discipline. So the Buddha says, under his teaching, under his noble one, means the noble enlightened disciples' discipline, this is not called effacement. This attainment is not called effacement. These are called pleasant abiding here and the now. in the Noble One's discipline. So this is a very powerful explanation. So here it is mentioned in the first jhana, it is possible here, Chunda, that certain bhikkhu or certain monks or certain ascetic, when they cultivate, they can realize a mind state that is quiet, secluded from sense pleasure, means they can cut off sensual desire. Yes, the five mental hindrances of sensual desire and you will, all those things are being temporarily suppressed, not rooted out, suppressed, means secluded from sensual desire. Then secluded from unwholesome state means defilement, means they are being suppressed, but they are not being rooted out. The reason why they can actually suppress it is because they have this concentration. It's a conditioned mind state. Because they apply thought, sustain thought, then they develop this peace within. Then they experience piti, sukhang, and they abide inside this. And it's relatively peaceful, very quiet, very wholesome. So the defilement no more. Then they abide in secluded state, mind state, means secluded from sensual pleasure and defilements, unwholesome mind state. Then for those bhikkhu who enter upon and abide in this first jhana, the form jhana, rupa jhana, which is accompanied by the jhanic factor of applied thought, sustained thought, piti and sukhang, born of seclusion, means you seclude your mind. You develop the jhanic energy through suppression, through seclusion, means you prevent the mind from thinking, from moving, means you go into sustained, what they call concentration. From kanika samadhi, they go into upachara samadhi. Then they go into apana samadhi. Means the mind becomes concentrated. It's a conditioned mind. So initially it's just momentary kanika samadhi, means momentary stability of mind. Then as they develop it further, they reach what they call access, concentration, upachara. They are at the threshold of entering apana samadhi, means absorption, concentration, or samadhi, continuous mindfulness samadhi. So during this state, we call it a conditioned state. The mind is not a free mind, it's conditioned into jhanic state. That's why the jhanic factors are there. Then when they abide in this during the olden days before the Buddha, is very, very popular under the Hindu tradition, the jhana cultivation. So they will abide in this first four form jhana and the other four formless jhana. That's like the two teachers that taught the Buddha until he realized the 7 and the 8 jhana, finally able to become their equal. And they invited the Buddha to teach together with them as equal. But the Buddha knew this is not what he was searching for, because he knew these are mind states that are very beautiful, but it's not the enlightenment that he is seeking or he is looking forward to realize. So because of that, the Buddha left the two teachers, and he knew it's not that way that lead to effacement. That's why after he successfully strike on his own for the remaining years, and finally underneath the Bodhi tree at his 6th year, he realized the full enlightenment, means he connected back and inherited his past cultivation and realized the true Dhamma, the understanding. That's why after that, when he came out and teach, became the Buddha. When Mahajunda asked him this question, he knew what all these jhanas are. That's why he explained it very clearly. He said, to them, maybe they think. He said, he might think us, means those people who went into jhanas. I am abiding in effacement, means in the enlightenment state. But the Buddha said, it is not this attainment that are called effacement in the noble ones discipline. Noble ones are enlightened one or enlightened disciple of the Buddhas. These are called pleasant abiding. Yes, it's very pleasant, very blissful, very calm, very still, very peaceful. Here and now, in the noble ones discipline. But this is not abiding in effacement. Then he go on and repeat for the rest. He said, it is possible here that with the stealing of applied thought and sustained thought, means when you relinquish applied thought and sustained thought, means after you have trained your anapanasati for quite a while, or concentration, means they don't do mindfulness of the in and out breath. They go and do concentration. They apply the thought, they sustain the thought, then after that, the mind doesn't move. The mind is in one pointedness concentration. Then because there is no thought, they experience a type of joy which we already know. It's called rapture, piti, spiritual rapture or joy. Then as you continue to relax into it and allow it to be, then this piti will become more and more refined. Then you experience a higher peace, which we call sukhang. It's very blissful. That state is very, very blissful. So here in the second jhana, you have to relinquish applied thought and sustain thought. Means you straight away can go into that state of piti, leading to sukhang. Then you can experience this. And some bhikkhu abide in I have to read the second jhana again. Some bhikkhu enter upon and abide in the second jhana, which has self-confidence, means their saddha is very strong, and one-pointedness of mind, means single-mindedness of mind, without applied thought and sustained thought, because these two relinquish, abandon. Then we just rapture, which is piti and sukhang, born of concentration. See, this one is not awareness, this is concentration. He might think thus, I am abiding in effacement, but again he repeats, this is called pleasant abiding here in the now, in the noble one's discipline, means it's not abiding in effacement. Then he continued to explain the third jhana. He said, it is possible here that with the fading away of piti, rapture, some bhikkhu abide in equanimity and mindful and fully aware. But in that state, you are still mindful, fully aware, but it's in apana samadhi. The mind is too concentrated. It's not a free mind. That's why the mental hindrance, the five mental hindrance, pancha nivarana, they are all being suppressed. It cannot surface. Mindful and fully aware, still feeling pleasure with the body, he enter upon and abide in the third jhana, on account of which noble one announced, he has a pleasant abiding, who has equanimity and is mindful. He might think thus, I abide in effacement, but these are called pleasant abiding here and now, in the noble one's discipline. See, the third jhana is still not the effacement. Then he moved on to the fourth jhana. It is possible here that with the abandoning of pleasure and pain, and with the previous disappearance of joy and grief, some bhikkhu enter upon and abide in the fourth jhana, which has neither pain nor pleasure, means pleasant or unpleasant sensation, and purity of mindfulness due to equanimity. He might think thus: I am abiding in effacement. Yes, under the fourth jhana, you are like an enlightened being. The mind is in the state of equanimity, no like, no dislike, but is in absorption apana samadhi. But it is not this attainment that are called effacement in the noble one's discipline. These are called pleasant abiding here and now in the noble one's discipline. So all this, the first four jhana, is clearly explained that they are not abiding in effacement. Then he moved on to the fifth jhana. The fifth to the eighth jhana are the formless jhana. The Buddha said it is possible here that with the complete surmounting of perception of form, means they go beyond the perception of form, with the disappearance of perception of sensory impact, with non-attention to perception of diversity, aware that space is infinite. Some bhikkhu enter upon and abide in the base of infinite space. So this is the first formless jhana, the realm of infinite space. He might think thus: I abide in effacement, but it is not this attainment that are called effacement in the noble one's discipline. These are called pleasant abiding in the noble one's discipline. Then he moved on to the next formless jhana. It is also possible here that by completely surmounting the base of infinite space, aware that consciousness is infinite, some bhikkhu enter upon and abides in the base of infinite consciousness. He might think thus: I am abiding in effacement, but this is called peaceful abiding in the noble one's discipline. So again, it's not abiding in effacement. Then he moved on to the next formless jhana, the third formless jhana, which is the seventh jhana. It is possible here that by completely surmounting the base of infinite consciousness, aware that there is nothing, some bhikkhu enters upon and abide in the base of nothingness. He might think thus: I am abiding in effacement, but again, this is not effacement. This is peaceful abiding in the noble one's discipline. Then, lastly, the eighth jhana. He said it is possible here that by completing surmounting the base of nothingness, some bhikkhu enter upon and abide in the base of neither perception or non-perception. Means the mind becomes very fine. You neither perceive or you don't perceive. He might think thus: I am abiding in effacement, but these attainments are not called effacement in the noble one's discipline. These are called peaceful abiding in the noble one's discipline. So this clarified very clearly that the four form jhana, rupa jhana and the arupa jhana, total 8 jhanas attainment, they are not enlightenment state. They are peaceful abiding, but not enlightenment state. So that's the reason why during the time of the Buddha, a lot of monks can attain the 8 jhanas, but they think they are enlightened. But the Buddha developed all these jhanas, and yet he knew he was not enlightened. Yes, to the Buddha, to be enlightened means to root out ignorance, to root out completely the problem of old age, sickness, and death, means to transcend birth and death. After abiding in all the 8 jhana, he realized he cannot transcend birth and death. He cannot go beyond seeing the body getting old, getting sick and die. So old age, sickness and death, he got no answer. He doesn't have an answer to it. That's why he knew these are not abiding in effacement. This is not the enlightenment that he is looking for. Then after he realized the enlightenment, when he came out to teach, then he realized for a cultivator to really develop the enlightenment, you had to go through all his essential Dhamma, his teaching, the Four Noble Truths, the Three Turning, and all the essential Dhamma that he has taught. Yeah. So this particular sutta, the Sallekha Sutta, is very beautiful. He said very clearly at the beginning, he said, if you want to realize this enlightenment state, you must develop the insight to clearly see things as they are with wisdom, that all these are non-self, empty, not what you think. And this is not I, this is not me, all these are not mine, but they are all dependent originating entity or phenomena. Even the form and mind is not a permanent, unchanging entity. It's not real, it's not what you think. That's why when he realized that, the Buddha awakened. His problem of old age, sickness and death no more, because he knew the physical body, the mind, has the universal characteristics of impermanence. You attach, cling and hold, it leads to suffering. And because it's impermanent, it's not a permanent unchanging entity that you can cling onto, grasp onto, hold onto and say, this is me, this is I. Therefore, all this can be mine. So once he awakened to that, it's exactly as how the Buddha described it. You can see it in that way. Have that insight and realization. Then the abandoning and relinquishing of defilements and wrong view comes to be. That's why without the ability, you can't. So what I have shared with you and taught you all this while are all those teachings that the Buddha wants you to develop. But here in the Sallekha Sutta is something very different, but finally it will lead to the same understanding. He was trying to teach the monks or the bhikkhu who are at the initial training. You remember? At the early opening sutta, he mentioned, the Ajinta asked him, he said, now does the abandoning and relinquishing of those wrong views come about in a bhikkhu who is attending only to the beginning of his meditative training? So at the beginning of the meditative training, can they realize this? The Buddha said they can't. So the Buddha explained, after he clarified that the Eighth Attainment is not the right way to develop it, means the Eight Jhanas is not the way to develop the mind that is enlightened, means abiding in effacement. So he explained to Chunna, he said, if you are new, what must you do? So he started by teaching the defilement part. So all these defilements or wrong view, the Buddha subdivided it into 44 so that it is complete. Because for those who are at the beginning of the training, meditative training, it's not easy to understand defilement, evil roots. That's why in the teaching, the Buddha just taught us the basic understanding. What are the basic understanding? He started with the law of karma, the first right view. We are all born our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma. And we are what we are because of karma. And because of that, you have to take care of karma. And how do we take care of karma? We have to understand. We have to avoid all evil, the good, and purify the mind, means following the advice of the Buddha. Because karma is such, you reap what you sow. Do good because good. Do evil because evil. You plant the seed of evil, you will reap the fruit of evil. So to take care of karma, you have to avoid all evil. Then you have to understand what constitutes evil. By telling you the three evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion constitute evil, it doesn't explain much unless you break it down. So the Buddha break it down so that bhikkhu, all the new bhikkhu under the initial training can learn this teaching. So initially, you have to base it on sila. Sila is what we call morality. That's why under the 7 stages of purification is quite similar to this sutta. The first one is sila visuddhi, purification of virtue. So that one, you must have mindfulness. You must be able to be aware, and you must understand what constitutes evil, the 3 evil roots. And the breaking down of it is what the Buddha has done for them. So last time, I only shared with you the important understanding of greed. Greed is not just greediness. That's why I break it down. All of your covetousness, your desire, your craving, your whatever pleasant and wholesome desire, even wholesome desire, is a type of greed. And that evil root is very deep in its meaning, and you can actually subdivide it into very wide scope. Even your selfishness is part of greed. When you are selfish, means you are greedy. Yeah. Then your deceitfulness is also part of greed. Yeah. Your craving, your possessiveness, all these are greed. Then greed also comes in many other forms. Covetousness is greed. Your lust, your desire, your craving, all these are greed. Your attachment, your clinging, your grasping, your holding on to your own possession, your views, everything is greed. Then when you deludedly cling on to your form and mind, thinking is you, that one is wrong view, delusion. So all this need to be understood. So here under this sutta, the Buddha break it down into 44 of these defilements and wrong view, so that the monk can put it into practice. So under the first cultivation, which is basically the effacement, then he gave instruction to Chunda. He said, now Chunda, here is how you should practice or cultivate effacement. Here, effacement should be practiced or cultivated by you in this way. Others will be cruel. We shall not be cruel here. Effacement should be practiced here. So here, he used, the translator didn't use the correct word. You look at the second one. The second one is correct. Others will kill living beings. We shall abstain from killing living beings. So under precept, sila visuddhi means purification of morality or precepts. The word should be abstain. That's why our 5 precepts or 8 precepts or the monks' precepts, they always have this. Panatipata, veramani, sikkhapadang samadhiyami. We undertake the training rule to abstain from what? Panatipata, killing. So, abstinence is the first cultivation. When you can abstain, means other may be cruel, but we shall, here he used not be cruel. You should abstain from being cruel. Not only not being cruel, means you really want to train yourself. Means no more of this defilement, no more of this wrong view. And this is how you have to train. I undertake the training rule, means each and every one of these, I undertake the training rule not to be cruel, not to kill, living being. Then number 3, I undertake the training rule not to take what is given. See, this one is also one of the precepts. Although the Buddha make it easier for you to understand, others will take what is not given. We shall abstain from taking what is not given here. So all these are the what they call defilements and wrong view. So number 4 is also the precepts. Yeah? Number 4. So we undertake the training rule to abstain from sexual misconduct and all those things. Here, because they are monks, so he said, other will be uncelibate. We should be celibate. So this one applies to monk. So effacement should be cultivated thus. So this is the first step to cultivate effacement through morality, sila, visuddhi. Then he moved on to the next one. Others will speak falsehood, but we undertake the training rule to abstain from false speech. So effacement should be practiced thus. Then he continued. Not only speak falsehood. Number 6, speak maliciously. Means you have the intention. You maliciously want to hurt people or abuse people or say all those negative things. Then number 7, harsh speech. You have to abstain. Then number 8, gossip, frivolous speech, backbiting. You should also abstain. Then others are covetous. You should abstain from being covetous. Means do not hold on to things strongly. Don't try to own. Don't try to possess. Means covetousness. Then number 10, others have ill will. You should abstain from having ill will. Then number 11, others have wrong view. You should develop right view. Means abstain from having all the wrong view. Is straightening of view, law of karma, law of non-self, law of impermanence, leading to suffering state, and anatta nature. So all these are the right understanding. Then the next one is the wrong mental intention. Others will have wrong mental intention, but we should abstain from wrong mental intention. Means you must have right thought with right mental intention, wholesome mental intention. If you don't cultivate in this way, you cannot change. There is no way you can change. So these are for beginners. So initially you have to develop this. Where you have an insight into phenomena. You haven't realized the 3 universal characteristics. So you don't see the importance of all this. But when you awaken, all this become automatic. You understand them immediately, clearly. Because you have insight into phenomena. When you know that the form and mind is not what you think. When you realize that this is not me, this is not I, therefore all these are not mine, then you will not have all this delusion, wrong view, or attachment, or defilements. So number 12 is wrong mental intention, 13 is wrong speech, 14 is wrong action, then wrong livelihood, wrong effort, or following noble eightfold path. Then the wrong mindfulness, 17. Then 18 is wrong concentration, which is the jhana. This one is very important. So you should abstain from developing the wrong concentration. Then number 19 is wrong knowledge. Wrong knowledge is wrong view. Then number 20 is the wrong way of deliverance. So the wrong way of deliverance is you are developing the wrong practices. Cultivation means those who do jhana, concentration, energy field, and all those things. Thought-based meditation. Then number 21, others will be overcome by sloth and torpor, but you will abstain or free yourself from sloth and torpor. Then the next one is restlessness of mind, doubt. These are all the mental hindrances. Then 24 is others will be angry. You shall abstain from being angry. Then resentful. Then after that, contemptuous. So these are all the various breakdown of defilements. Then others will be insolent. Insolent. I don't know what is the meaning. What is this meaning? Insolent. My daughter say maybe it's rude. Rude. Then the other one, number 28, is envy. Envious. Then 29 is avaricious. Oh, so many words I don't understand one. Yeah, rude and arrogant, insolent. Then the next one, avarice. What is the meaning?
Extreme greed for wealth.
Extreme greed for wealth. Avaricious. Extreme greed for wealth. So that is number 29. Then number 30 is fraudulent. Is you try to deceive and cheat people through fraudulent ways. Then 31 is deceitful. See? Then 32 is obstinate. Obstinate is stubborn, isn't it? Obstinate is stubborn. Then 33, arrogance. See, they break it down into so many. Then 34, others will be difficult to admonish. This one also one of the very dangerous one. If people admonish you, cannot change you, then you cannot be taught. So you must be easy to be admonished. Then 35, this one is also very important. Others will have bad friends, means heedless, deluded friend. So you should abstain from mixing with the foolish and the deluded or the heedless. So this one you must have good friends, Dhamma friends. Then 36, you should avoid negligence, means laziness or whatever. Instead, you should abstain from negligence, means develop diligence. Then others will be faithless, 37. You should develop faith. Then shamelessness, this one also very dangerous. If you are shameless, you cannot cultivate the Dhamma. The sense of shame must be there, because this is not right and you cannot do. So 39, also, you will have no fear of wrongdoing. That one you have to abstain. If you can abstain from that, then you will be able to purify your mind. See, when a person has no shame in wrongdoing, in doing all the wrong thing, then this person will go the wrong way. The karma would fall. It will lead to downfall. And the whole of the cultivation will go wrong. Then number 41, abstain from being lazy, laziness. Then number 42, also very important. Others are unmindful. You should abstain from being unmindful and you should determine to establish mindfulness. Then 43, others will lack wisdom. This one is also a defilement. So you should abstain from developing this lack of wisdom, means you shall cultivate to develop wisdom. Then finally, the last one is the most dangerous one. The Buddha said, others will adhere to their own views, hold on to them tenaciously, and relinquish them with difficulty. So this is the category of being that the Buddha also cannot help. If you hold on to your view tenaciously, nobody can teach you, nobody can help you. It's like your cup is full. You won't listen to anything. So he said, if you are a cultivator, you should not adhere to this. You should abstain from having this negativity or holding on to your view tenaciously. You should develop a more appropriate mind state, means having an open mind. So when you can have an open mind, you will not hold on to your views tenaciously. So all these are the 44 ways that the Buddha taught the monks who are in the initial training to develop the cultivation. Is initially effacement come about through like keeping precept. You undertake the training rule to abstain from all this wrong thing. And this is a simplified way to help you understand what constitutes defilements, wrong view. If you follow this 44, then when you cultivate it to maturity or perfection, then you become very different. Means the initial training is already there. Sila is already in place. So when sila is in place, your mind becomes peaceful. Samadhi will kick in. But the first stage of cultivation on abstinence, following the precept sila visuddhi, is not enough. The Buddha said you should move on to the second stage, which is inclination of mind. Yeah, your inclination of mind is very important. Mind is citta, your thought process. So this one, the second cultivation is citta visuddhi, purification of citta, the thought process, the mind. So when your mind is inclined towards wholesome state, then it brings about great benefit. So the Buddha told Chunda, I say that even the inclination of mind towards wholesome state is of great benefit. So what should be said of bodily and verbal action conforming to such state of mind? Therefore, Chunda, mind should be inclined thus. Others will be cruel, we shall not be cruel. So you continue the 44, all the 44. You go through them. So this mind's inclination is actually citta visuddhi, means the thought you arise. That's why when you arise a wholesome thought, the right thought, then it will follow the Noble Eightfold Path. Because your mind's inclination will decide the outcome of your action and speech. That's why he said, if you know the mind's inclination towards wholesomeness, virtue are of great benefit. So if you don't incline your mind towards this right intent, then the mind will go the other way. It will become unwholesome. When it becomes unwholesome, then you will have karmic negativity. It will lead to downfall. So purification of mind, citta visuddhi, is the same, except you now know that these are defilements, content of consciousness that need to be rooted out. So how do you root it out? Through intent. You incline your mind towards wholesome state to develop virtue, no more negativity. Then it will bring about great benefit because your views will condition your action and speech following Noble Eightfold Path. That's why right view will give rise to right thought. Right thought is right inclination of mind. Then right thought will condition right speech, right action, and right livelihood. So all this will follow. That's why without right view, you cannot arise right thought. So based on the 44 that the Buddha has taught, he wants you to cultivate the inclination of mind so that you always incline towards wholesomeness, towards virtuous thing, having right thought, no more wrong thought. So this is how effacement can happen. Then after that, there's another one, the third training, the Buddha said, avoidance. So here, avoidance, the Buddha make it very simple. He said, Chunda, suppose there is an uneven path, and another one is an even path by which to avoid. And suppose there is an uneven fork, and another one even fork by which to avoid. So too, a person given to cruelty has non-cruelty by which to avoid it. So this avoidance is to remind you that these two, wholesome and unwholesome state, are very different. One is an even path. One is an uneven path, lead to downfall, give you a lot of problem. So you have to avoid the uneven path. Then the other one is an uneven fall, same, even fall. So this avoidance is actually to develop the appropriate right understanding and right view, so that when you cultivate the 44 breakdown of defilements, you will develop it through understanding. You will understand the other one lead to downfall. The other one is very smooth sailing and lead to what they call advancement in cultivation, and your progress all will be guaranteed. So avoidance here is to avoid the defilements, to avoid all the wrong view, the wrong thing, laziness, stubbornness. So all this character, you have to slowly develop the understanding not to be involved, so that you can have compassion, love, humility, no more arrogance, no more stubbornness, no more of those 44 defilements that the Buddha has spoken, and no more of those wrong view or wrong understanding that he has mentioned. So if you can do that, then you will progress. So this is like the third purification, ditthi visuddhi. So from precepts, sila visuddhi, you move on to inclination of mind, which is the Buddha said citta visuddhi. You incline your mind towards wholesomeness is of great benefit. Then avoidance is to purify your views. Yeah. Then he moved on to the next one, the fourth one. And the fourth one is very beautiful. This one, he said, chunda. There is a way leading upward. Just as all wholesome state leads, just as all unwholesome state leads downward, and all wholesome state leads upward, so too, a person who is given to cruelty has non-cruelty to lead him upwards. So this one, you should contemplate and reflect. As in the early day of my cultivation, I remember this is what I did. After a long period of cultivation, then I realized those who are on the right path, they continuously progress. They will not fall back anymore. It's like the snake and ladder game when you play when you're a child. The long snake towards the goal at the end there. If you hit that one, it will bring you back to almost square one, all the way down. Then you got to throw your dice again to go up. So to avoid that pitfall, you have to understand this. The way leading upwards means when you have understood the cultivation. That's why in the 7 stages of purification or satta visuddhi, they have this vision and knowledge of what is path and what is non-path. And what is the one that lead to the path and fruition? What is the one that lead to downfall? Non-path. So this one is a simplified way to explain to you the right way to cultivate is to cultivate all these virtues, what they call wholesome state, that leads upward, that protects you from downfall, that protects you from going the wrong way. So this way leading upward is something you have to contemplate, reflect, and understand. Then after that, you determine not to do it. It is beyond the even and uneven path. The even and uneven path you see, then you know how to avoid them. The other one leads to downfall. This one leads to wholesomeness and progress and all those things. Then the way leading upward is, once you start to understand that all these are very beautiful, then you will continuously cultivate only wholesome state, no more of the old way. So this one you will come to know at certain stage, like you cannot fall back anymore. The five precepts is always with you. You are always mindful, aware, heedful. The embodiment of the Noble Eightfold Path, slowly they are coming to you. Then what they call, we have this, the Avijja Sutta, the 10 steps towards enlightenment. All this, they are all the same. If you look at the 10 steps, it is all following all this cultivation. So as you move up, that's why under the 10th step in the Avijja Sutta, once you go beyond step 4 and 5, then you are destined for enlightenment. Then step 6, you know, you cannot fall back already. Yeah. Then of course, the natural consequence is step 7. Yeah. Then after that, you are at least first or second stage of sainthood. Because after you have developed the daily mindfulness, the initial wisdom, then you will be able to actually cultivate accordingly. So the 3 way of right conduct will always be there. You will not fall back anymore. So when the 3 way of right conduct is always there, there is no way you can fall back. That is what Noble Eightfold Path is all about. So this way leading upward is the same. When you see what is important, that's why under Avijja Sutta, first is to have Dhamma friends. Then constantly listening to the Dhamma to develop the faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Then number 4 is to develop the initial wisdom, which is all these practices. Contemplate, reflect, then listen to Dhamma, then develop all the right understanding, the right view. Then all of the initial wisdom, they will surface to protect you in your daily life. Every moment of sense experience, this yoniso manasikara, they will be there. Then once this one is there, you will have more and more moments of peace, space between thought. Your awareness will be more and more, where you don't react to sense experience anymore. You do not have all those wrong view and wrong understanding before anymore. So your mind will become more and more different. So you will be able to cultivate step 5, which is sati sampajana, mindfulness and clear comprehension of all action and all movement in the present moment. So these are all very straightforward, natural consequence that you will develop as you develop the cultivation. Then after that, the last one, the Buddha said, the way to really extinguish or root out completely, there is another word he uses, quenching of the defilement and the wrong view, means to completely root it out. Here, the Buddha only gave an analogy, but he didn't teach you how to do it. How to do it is to follow the Avijja Sutta and develop it until the 8th step, 4 foundation of mindfulness, leading to the 7 factors of enlightenment, then the enlightenment in the here and the now. So they are all leading to the same thing. So this one, the last one, is about the third turning, the direct seeing, the wisdom born of bhavana, the third turning wisdom, which we call bhavannamaya panna. So this one here in the sutta, the Buddha just explained that you must develop until like that. Otherwise, it cannot. So here he said, Chunda, that one who is himself sinking in the mud, means in the quagmire, should pull out another who is sinking in the mud is impossible. That one who is not himself sinking in the mud or the quagmire should pull out another who is sinking in the mud or quagmire is possible. So that one who is himself untamed, undisciplined. So this one is to make it clearer. With defilement unextinguished, should tame another, discipline him, and help extinguish his defilement is impossible. Whereas that one who is himself tamed, trained, disciplined, with defilement extinguished, should tame another, discipline him, and help extinguish his defilement is possible. So too, a person given to cruelty has non-cruelty by which to extinguish it, means rooted out already. All the 44 defilements, wrong view, all rooted out already. But here in this sutta, the Buddha didn't have the time to actually explain how to do it because it involved a very long teaching to root out defilements. So this is what Sallekha Sutta is all about. So if you really understand this sutta, then it will link you back to the Avijja Sutta, the Noble Eightfold Path, and all the other essential Dhamma, the three turning of the Four Noble Truths, and everything that I have taught you. The 7 stages of purification, citta, visuddhi, they are all the same. Except this is for beginner, the monks who are at the beginning of their what we call training, meditative training. Yeah. So with this, I will end this Sallekha Sutta. Then if you have any question or what, you can maybe ask me. Oh, sorry, there's a conclusion. I read the conclusion before we end. In the conclusion, the Buddha says, so Chunda, the way of effacement has been taught by me, the Buddha. The way of inclination of mind has been taught by me. So first one, effacement is abstinence, sila visuddhi. Inclination of mind is citta visuddhi. The avoidance is actually ditthi visuddhi, means purification of views. Then leading outward is another ditthi visuddhi, but also part of the what they call knowledge and vision of what is path and non-path has been taught by me. And the way of extinguishing has also been taught by me. What should be done for his disciple out of compassion by a teacher who seeks their welfare and has compassion for them, that I have done for you, Chunda. There are these roots of trees, these empty hearts. Meditate, Chunda. Do not delay, or else you will regret it later. This is our instruction to you. So the Buddha, out of love and compassion, actually lay out all these guided teachings. This is what the Blessed One said, and the Venerable Mahachunda was satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's word. Actually, he asked this question on behalf of the new cultivator, the new bhikkhus who are undergoing the initial meditative training. So with this, I will end the sutta. Then we can maybe open up for Dhamma discussion.
Radio and Mrs. and all Kayamitas.
Yes.
Radio, I just have one comment on this Sallekha Sutta.
Okay.
Actually, when I read this,
Yes.
about the attainment, right? The Eighth
Yes.
Attainment, right?
Yes.
Because in the past, I often hear people saying that you need to have jhana in order to become enlightened.
To become enlightened, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this sutta really tell you that is not true, totally wrong,
In fact, without this sutta, you also will know, because during the time of the Buddha, he cultivated under the two teachers, Alara and Udaka, and he also completed all the jhanas. But he knew he was not looking for all this. What he was looking for is how to overcome old age, sickness, and death. Because after you have all the great jhanic experience, does it solve your problem? No. And the reason why the Buddha Sakyamuni left the palace is because he saw the four signs, remember? An old person, very, very old, means old age. Then a sick person, then a dead person, then a samana, means a cultivator. So he was thinking, if this is the reality, these are the realities, then he has a problem. Because he asked the attendant, he said, what do you mean by he is an old person? Then the attendant told him, every one of us have to grow old. One day we will be like him or worse than him. Then he said, if there is a case, I have a problem. When I reach this old age, my senses are failing me and everything is failing me, and I am in such bad situation and shape. Then when it comes to disease, sickness, worse, then finally death. He got no answer to all this. He said, all the things that the Father has given him, all the joy, the four palaces or the four seasons has no meaning because they are not going to last. Ultimately, he has to confront this reality of getting old, getting sick, and die. He got no answer. That's why after realizing all the jhana, there is still no answer. But their teacher told him, yeah, the answer is you don't have to go through old age, sickness, and death here. You don't come back here. You go to the formless rhyme and take birth. And they think that is ultimate. They think that is abiding in effacement. What they realize is also not to say not true. It's true. They will take birth there, live there very, very long. But they didn't know what the Buddha knew. Finally, you will fall back and be reborn in the lower rhyme. So that is not the actual solution, the permanent solution. So the Buddha knew, that's why he continued his search, his meditative search. Then finally, underneath the Bodhi tree, when he connected, he came to that realization. That realization is very penetrative. That's why you must have mindfulness, awareness to see clearly who are you, what are you, and how you function as a human being. You are not what you think. So, Pocheng, that one is beautiful, isn't it? Huh? So, actually, without this Sallekha Sutta, you know all these are special experience. It's not the wisdom, it's not the insight, it cannot free you. That's why without that insight into phenomena, the universal characteristic, and the penetrative understanding born of mindfulness, you cannot understand the form of mind. You cannot understand its unreality, the phenomenal world of consciousness, and all this. You cannot understand. And the nature's law that governs life and existence, what is real, what is unreal, all you cannot understand. Okay, Poche?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Brother Teo. This is really a direct question and answer, that give you and tell you, I mean, for those that have very tenacious view that, oh, I must have jhana.
You hold on to your view tenaciously, then you are caught. Very difficult to teach because it's like his cup is full. In the Zen analogy, whatever you pour in, it just flow out. It cannot go in anymore because they don't believe anything. Their view is such, no, this cannot be true. So then some, they believe their religion is the only truth. So any other religious proposition or teaching, they just refuse to look at it or listen to it. So these are people who cannot be taught, cannot be like approached to have a open, free discussion to develop like further understanding. So no more of those sharing Mm. It's just like their mind is very, very different. They are very close. So when you hold on to your view tenaciously, nobody can teach you, not even the Buddha. So that one must avoid. Have an open mind. Never hold on to your views tenaciously, because you can learn many things in life. Because everyone is different. They have their own understanding of certain aspect of things. They may be an expert in that field. So if you are open to listening to all this, then you can learn. You can learn from everything in life, from everybody, which is very beautiful.
Yes, yes. So, Brother, what you say is really true. Like, for example, you say the Buddha left the two teachers, right?
Yes,
Because
yeah,
already attained eight jhana, but still not
yeah,
enlightened. But
yeah.
that one is, I mean, he didn't tell us directly. That is from the right deduction. You make that,
No,
but
no.
most people will just
The
ignore it.
sutta mentioned that.
Oh, the Sutta mentioned that.
These
Okay.
two teachers, one taught him until the seven jhana, then the other one taught him until the eight jhanas. Then both invited him as equal to teach, but he refused. He told them no. He told the teacher, this is not what I'm looking for. That's why he left them. And he went on his own. Then when he went on his own, the five ascetics that was with him actually saw him finally one day. He started to eat. He do not like self-mortification like in the past until he was so skinny. But he realized when he was young, under the harvesting festival as a child, he meditated. Then his mind was so serene and peaceful and he levitated. He was actually in the first jhana, but he was not enlightened. But he knew that mind was very calm, very peaceful, and he was fed, and he has food. He was healthy. That's why after that he decided to eat again. He know by being very stringent with himself through self-mortification, like giving up eating and all those things, then like sleep very little. It is actually not the way. That's why he finally realized the middle path. The middle path, not the two extreme. That's why his opening statement in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is to the five ascetic, avoid the two extreme of sensual indulgence and self-mortification. And the meaning is really deep. Also, finally, the second meaning is to transcend duality. So the middle path. That's why the Noble Eightfold Path is also called the middle path. So during that time, he already knew that this is not the way. That's why he left the teacher and he went on his own. Then he tried other means because he know the old way doesn't lead to enlightenment. So he started to eat again. So when he started to eat, the five ascetics thought he was not serious. So they left him. So he was on his own. Then later on, when Sujata offered the milk rice that nourishes his body, then he saw the sign and he made that aspiration. He said, not until he is enlightened, he will not arise from that seat. Or in that vow, in the affirmation is so powerful and so strong, it really materialized and give rise to the causes and conditions for his enlightenment. But he also saw the sign because there are a few signs that he saw. When after he ate the milk rice offered by Sujata, it seems he saw the stream flowing down, the natural stream. Then he make a aspiration. If it's meant for him to be enlightened, let this so-called bowl or container that the offering was given, let it go against the stream and flow outward. And he threw it down to the stream, and it really flowed upward. That's why he saw the sign. He know meant to be, and a lot of other things that he can sense. That's why he determined that night. He said, and he awakened. Of course, he was tested by the Maras and all those things. They say the three daughters of the Mara. I don't know whether it's true or not. Maybe it represents the three evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. One is seductive one, the other two is violent and evil one. So all this is mentioned in the sutta. That's how the sutta actually was written. That's why a lot of people didn't really look at the sutta, they didn't know. So in the early days, the jhanas were very popular because a lot of the commentaries, it seems they interpret the Sama Samadhi as the 8 jhanas. Then it was also written in one of the sutra, it seems, the Novice Sutta. He said, the Buddha mentioned under that sutta, he said the noble disciple can go into that, they interpret as the 8 jhanas, at any time they want. So they didn't know that that was not referring to the jhanas, because if it's the 8 jhana in the Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha must well put that sama jhana, true or not? Why he used another word samadhi? Sama samadhi. So it's very obvious. Then when it comes to that sutta, it seems now people who have the understanding, they talk about now in the Buddhist fraternity, and they had this very open discussion about the 2 types of jhanas. One is the awareness-based jhana. Now they come out with this word awareness-based jhana. So to me, it's not important, whatever it is. If it's thought-based, energy field, it cannot lead to enlightenment beyond thought, beyond mind. It's impossible. That's why if you refer back to the sutta, you can see all this very clearly. But because of commentaries, people tend to cling on to the word jhanas. And in the early day, it was so popular. But now, over the years, I think the last 10 or 20 over years, the concept of jhana no longer has its popularity. Now it's all about mindfulness, awareness, and all these things. But they know you do concentration jhana, you cannot root out the defilement. The individual who do that type of meditation will know your defilement, your greed, the way you live life. You cannot. You don't have the wisdom. That's why finally my nature knows it's only wisdom that free. That's why the first Noble Eightfold Path is right view or right understanding, which is the wisdom path factor. Without that one, you cannot free your mind. It's not the meditative experience. The meditative experience is secondary. No matter how marvelous your experience can be, your mind state can be, if it doesn't bring about wisdom, then it is not the thing that can free your mind. Even the Surangama Sutta, the 50 Dhyan Samadhi, fantastic mind state that the Mahayana Sutta mentioned, very clearly these are not enlightenment state. These are not abiding in effacement, abiding in peace, stillness, pleasure, or pleasant abiding. So all these are very clear. Okay, Ajay?
Yes, thank you, Varatio. Yes, having this sutta actually, because I don't read a lot of sutta, so this sutta really kind of reinforced my understanding that jhana is not leading to enlightenment, does not actually arise, develop wisdom,
Yeah, because when you abide in those states, it's not abiding in effacement, means you have not rooted out yet. Why? Because the jhana suppress the mental hindrance. It cannot come out because you are in a conditioned state. These defilements are not rooted out. Well, they need wisdom to root out. That's why they don't have the initial wisdom, yoniso manasikara. Then they don't have the direct seeing, the insight. The direct seeing you can only see with the silent mind, the true mind, not with the concentrated mind. That one cannot. That one is thought-based. That one cannot awaken, cannot go beyond thought, beyond mind.
Correct.
These are very important understanding.
Yeah, because these are
But
conditions.
I must qualify one thing. A lot of people also don't understand. Don't get me wrong. Doesn't mean this sutta say the jhana doesn't lead to the enlightenment, that you cannot practice jhana or you have to avoid jhana. No, don't get this wrong. The Buddha also did the jhanas. He also finished the jhana, but he know this is not abiding in effacement. That's it, finished. But if they know how to release that jhana and come out to develop the daily mindfulness and develop what they call the contemplative wisdom, first, second, and third turning, then it will turn into vipassana, wisdom, insight meditation, means awareness-based meditation. And then it will lead to the same, what they call result, enlightenment. That's why in the sutta it's mentioned there are two types of approach to enlightenment. One is ceto vimutti. The other one is panna vimutti. Panna is wisdom leading to vimutti. Vimutti is liberation, liberation of mind. Ceto is from concentration. Ceto vimutti is from concentration. Means you can develop jhana, concentration, one pointer or whatever. From there, it can also lead to liberation. But you have to release it out and finally develop the daily mindfulness and develop the sati, the samasati, to cultivate the four foundation of mindfulness, the Noble Eightfold Path. Then it will lead to the same result. That's why finally it's still from ceto, it will go to panna. Then from there, liberation. So in fact, both are panna vimutti. But you can approach it from ceto, concentration. Because the Buddha also did it. Doesn't mean you have jhana, you cannot. Can you release that one out and go into daily mindfulness to develop the awareness-based meditation, then to realize the true mind. Then from there you go in. That's why I always say, whatever meditation you do, if it doesn't lead you back to the Noble Eightfold Path, the four foundation of mindfulness, the Avijja Sutta is not the meditation as taught by the Buddha. Because without the step 4 and step 5, sense restraint, step 6 is impossible. Then without sense restraint, you cannot keep your precept. Sila visuddhi is not there, citta visuddhi is not there. That's why you cannot have the 3 way of right conduct, which is step 7. So all these are very obvious. They are all connected, linked. Then constantly listening to the Dhamma also help. Then from there, you develop the right view, you develop all the advice of the Buddha, you follow the advice of the Buddha, you cultivate. So all these sutta, they are all connected, but it's taught under different circumstances, condition to different student or disciple of the Buddha at that time. That's why it has its efficacy and appropriateness. So hopefully with this, it will avoid argument and misunderstanding. Because in the early day when I shared for the first time, I remember there was 2005. I remember when I first shared this sutta. Of course, those who do the Burmese way one day very happy. Where this sutta, it seems at that time, the Mahasi Sayadaw in Burma, he liked to use this sutta to counter all those who do jhana one. Oh, so when they hear this, but those who actually favor the jhana, they very unhappy, then they actually ask a lot of very strong questions. He said, but I thought a lot of monks teach jhana. I say, without jhana, there is no enlightenment and all those things. So I have to actually explain. That's why I don't go and use this explanation, the sutta, and go and challenge people. Forget about it. Please don't do that. You do that, you are looking for trouble. Because the Buddha never say cannot do or jhana is wrong. No. He said these are mind state that does not lead to abiding in effacement. It's not the enlightened state. That's it. Nothing else. So don't go at anything and go and come to conclusion that jhana cannot. Do jhana means wrong. No, no such thing. You can start from anywhere, any direction. You can do whatever method or technique. Finally, you must end up with the wisdom that is awareness-based meditation that can lead to liberation and freedom. Means sati, mindfulness. You must have mindfulness, leading to all the steps that you need to cultivate, following the Avijja Sutta and all the essential Dhamma as taught by the Buddha, the three turning, Four Noble Truths, Noble Eightfold Path, 7 stages of purification. All this, they are all in the teaching. That's why now with this explanation of this sutta, it will lead to a very clear understanding that can allow you to link all the teachings together. They are no different. It may appear like, wow, how come the Buddha teach like that now? It's because this is for beginners or those who are at the beginning of the meditative training, and they have to understand all this to slowly go in. That's why in the last one, when it comes to relinquishment or quenching of the defilement and the wrong view, rooting out of all this wrong view, the Buddha also only tell them that you have to actually root them out in order to have the ability to teach and guide people or take people out of their predicament. Otherwise, you can't. But how to do it, he don't have the time to teach in the sutta. So in the other sutta, he taught them. That's why all the sutta, they are all linked, interconnected. Okay, Poche?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Varatio, for the clear explanation. Yeah, I think because I don't read a lot of suttas, so a lot of times, I hear all these things, so I
now you can Google. You can go in and Google. They are available in the internet website.
Yeah, but what you say is clearly stated here that there are 2 approaches that you said, but from the approaches that you mentioned, the awareness based meditation is the panna vimutti is much easier and a shorter path. I mean, based on my experience.
Correct. But some people are used to starting with concentration. Yes, if they don't do concentration, they cannot control their mind. Their mind think a lot, wander off and become heedless. Their mind cannot be in the free mind state and yet aware. That's why they have to use object of meditation, methods, technique, and all those what they call 40 object of meditation to develop concentration. That's why in the early day, the 40 meditation object was very popular in the time of the Buddha in India. But these are object of concentration to allow them to concentrate. They have this what they call 10 casinas. They got light casinas, then they got earth casino, water casino, wind casino, and all the other type of casinos. So 10 of them. They form 1/4 of the 40 object of meditation. So casino are very popular, especially light casino. They like to visualize the light. Then some they go and learn the water casino. Then some will learn heat, wind. That's why a lot of these type of practices. Then some go for self-motivation. Some go for a lot of other type of funny practices.
So actually, it's very lucky that we if we learn from the right teacher, we don't have to
of course
take a long way to
you
learn,
don't deviate.
Yeah.
You don't deviate. You don't
Yeah, don't deviate.
You don't go around looking.
Yeah.
Finally
Yes.
end up nowhere. Then finally take you a long time to come back.
Correct. So we have a lot of detour if you learn from the wrong teacher, I think.
Yeah. It's because of karma. You cannot blame them because karma create the karmic obstruction. Then when you come with that type of karmic obstruction, I realize they will deviate first. They will follow the wrong type of teaching and the wrong type of practice. Then finally, if they have good roots or good condition, they will meet back, like some of our Kayamitas. In fact, a lot of them told me, they brother Teo, how come? This life I went and do all those type of funny meditation. Until now only I understand what is the real teaching. I say it's all coming from the past, because when you don't have the understanding, you go and promote all these things, you create your own karmic obstruction. And karmic obstruction is not easy to root out. You must know how to ask for forgiveness, repent, then determine not to repeat all this. Then evoke power of merits for turnaround, causes and conditions for you to avoid. That's why the Buddha always asks you to chant this imina punyang kamina, means invoke the power of merits. Imina punya, punyang is your merits, kamina. Then mami bala samagamo, satang samagamo hotu, yawa nivana patiya, means by the power of these merits that you are cultivated may arise a causes and conditions for you to avoid the foolish and the heedless, so that you can meet up with the wise and enlightened one, so that Nibbana can be realized soon as possible. That's why this aspiration is very important. You don't make this aspiration very difficult to come near, to meet up with the wise one. But you also have to understand who are the foolish, heedless, and the wise one. If you follow this Avijja Sutta practice for a long time or many life, you will know who are the heedless and the foolish, and who are the wise one. Because all these teachings of the 44, you tend towards wholesomeness. Then the even and uneven path, you will know which is not right, which is right, which is path and which is non-path. And all this you will understand. Then you will know how to incline your mind towards that. You will know how to keep your precept abstinent from all this negativity. And the Buddha under this sutra has divided the defilements, also called the evil roots, into enough sections or division for you to follow, so that you won't miss out any. Yeah, he has covered almost all. That's why he break it down into 44 defilements instead of the 3 evil roots and wrong view. So these are the way the Buddha actually taught and teach, so that the bhikkhu at that time, the disciple, can understand.
Yes, Brother, very detailed effacement, and how we walk the path, like incline your mind, because if your mind think like that, you will talk and action the same way as
because
mind,
the inclination of mind will bring about the mental intention towards that wholesomeness, and it's of great benefit, you know. That's why you will incline your mind towards that. But if you always go and incline your mind towards negativity and develop the wrong character, or what they call personality, then you will lead to all the downfall, the defilements. So all this is very clear. So inclination of mind is very important. If you incline towards wholesomeness, it will lead to great benefits. And all these are right thought, leading to right speech, right action, right livelihood, and the right noble eightfold path cultivation.
Yes, agree totally. So this sutta is really, really good, especially we all, when we are doing the training, they help us, the guide us, so that we will not defer and do the wrong thing and silly things. Okay, Bratio, I think I have said enough. I think I like somebody to talk.
Hi, good evening, Bratio.
Yes, PJ.
Thank you and all kilometers.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful day.
Happy Mooncake Festival.
Mid-autumn day.
Yeah, Mid-Autumn Festival.
Yeah, festival.
Yeah.
The sutta. Actually, I read it earlier when you posted it.
Sadhu.
It's very detailed. So detailed that I was thinking, it looks like it's like the 5 precepts, the Noble Eightfold Path, everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even the 5 mental hindrances, all there. The Noble Eightfold Path, the mindfulness, everything is all there. The wrong view, all there.
A lot to cultivate that shows. But I think that as we are more mindful, a lot of it should be quite easy for us to see, and of course straight away to avoid.
Straight away you know what it is. But I forgot to mention one thing. Now that you give me the condition, this 44 subdivision is actually helping you all to develop the what we call the Noble Eightfold Path cultivation. You see, under Noble Eightfold Path cultivation, we have this 4 right effort, you remember? The 4 right effort, especially the 3rd and the 4th. The 3rd and the 4th is almost completely silent within the teaching. The 1st and 2nd is quite detailed, explained, except they don't know what the 3rd way and the 4th way is really like. So that one is to actually abandon the defilement and prevent the defilement from arising. So the 5 way, all those things, that one is in the sutta. But when it comes to the 3rd way, to actually arise the right effort to cultivate the virtue or the right thought, right speech, and right action that are still not in you, that one is not taught. It's not taught. So it's only described generally. So this one, the Sallekha Sutta, actually teach you how to do the right effort to cultivate all the right thought, right speech, right action that are still not in you. Then you check the 44. All these 44, the defilement one, you abstain and do the opposite. These are all right thought, right speech, and right action, and right character. So that one actually help. Then you, of course, you have to go and develop the rest yourself, like right speech. There he asks you to abstain from wrong speech, but he never tell you what is right speech. And that one you have to develop yourself. That's why I always teach you gentle, pleasant, and good, appropriate speeches that leads to harmony, lead to understanding, lead to love, lead to joy, lead to harmony. So all these are the extra that is even not in this Sallekha Sutta. So you can add it in. So the 44 breakdown, I find it quite useful for people who want to start like a beginner. Then you can expand your whatever understanding of what is defilement into more detailed breakdown. Okay, PJ? Sadhu. For arising the condition. And what you say is very true. Just now you mentioned about how it can help you all develop all this.
But I feel that we must look more into the mind, the intention. I always say
the mental intention. Yeah, like you say, when you are more mindful, all this, like naturally you can understand. They will surface. But with the sutta, it's easier. With the sutta, it's easier.
Yeah, but it's like so long.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's so detailed, so detailed.
Yeah.
I think it's more suitable for the monks because they spend a lot of time.
Almost full time.
So
reading the sutta, understanding the sutta, and putting them into practice. For us, I think there are some of us, or maybe majority of us, we actually go to the insight. We insight into phenomenal awaken. Then from there, we go back and develop the cultivation of Noble Eightfold Path. Means we do it the reverse of what the Sallekha Sutta people do. The Sallekha Sutta people, they have to start from there because they don't know how to develop the mindfulness and to insight into phenomena, the meditative training. So that's why they have to start that way. So ours is the reverse. And I realize the reverse, you develop faster, but you need to have some form of good teacher or good guide or from your past cultivation and practice to do that. Otherwise, the Sallekha Sutta one is more suitable for most people who don't have teachers and all those things or don't have good teachers. You should go through that one. So this is how I understand it.
Yeah, we are most fortunate, Bratio. Thank you so much for that. Bratio, I think I better end it all.
Better end. I think it's late already. Okay. Sadhu. So let us rejoice. Rejoice with the sharing of Pucheng and PG. Sadhu. Sadhu. Sadhu.